Hi beautiful weirdos, Charlotte here, welcome back to Pretty Scary, and today I'm filming day number 10 of my 12 Twisted Days of Christmas. Now I've seen a lot of examples online of an illusion makeup of a Jack-in-the-Box, and I think they are amazing, and I've been wanting to have a go at one for ages, and when I was thinking loads of Leaping, I was a bit stuck and thinking what can I do? And then these Jack-in-the-Box illusion makeups sprung to mind, so I've decided to have a go at one of those today. I've never done one before, so fingers crossed that it will work, wish me luck, and I'm going to make a start.
The very first thing I'm doing is drawing out the features of the Jack-in-the-Box with a pencil, and I'm just using a lip liner. So I'm just drawing a big smiley mouth, some high cheeks, some big eyebrows, a frown line, and then just the bottom of the face. And then to draw the actual spring coming out of the Jack-in-the-Box, the best thing to do is draw a line either side in which you can put your spring. This just gives you a guide for how wide to make it so that it's uniform all the way down. And obviously any mistakes you make you can wipe off with a baby wipe like you just saw me doing there. I soon switched to a brown eyeliner pencil because for some reason the lip liner just didn't want to go on my skin. So I drew the spring and then drew the box. Use reference pictures for this. This is another one of those looks where it does help if you have some kind of artistic ability, some kind of drawing and painting ability. Right, so I've just sponge painted my face white. I'm not quite sure why that wasn't on the filming, but hey, it wasn't. And then taking a sort of light browny, taupey kind of tone, I'm just using a fluffy brush and shading in all the areas where I want a little bit of depth and shadow and dimension. So along the cheeks and some creases down the side of the cheeks, a little dimpled chin, and around the nose, because I'm going to be creating a new nose shape, and around those eyebrows. Now I'm just painting in the middle of the mouth white, ready for the teeth, and now just drawing in the teeth and the gums, and I'm using the bottom of my bottom lip, you know what I mean, beauts. I'm using my bottom lip as a tongue. So what you're wanting to do basically is to hide your own features as much as possible, and the best way to do this is either by using the lines of your face in your design or by putting dark colours over anything you want to hide. Oh, and also putting detail over anything you want to hide just breaks up the shapes and fools the eye into thinking that something else is there. Anyway, back to painting. So I'm using a black water-based paint to paint the inside of the mouth. I decided to do this first so that I had a focal point to work around. And then using a finer, stiffer brush, I'm just going in and deepening those shadows to create dimension. You're basically wanting to make the features look 3D, even though you're drawing them on your face. This is where some drawing and painting expertise does come in handy, but if you're not an artist, if you're not a drawer or a painter, then it doesn't mean that you can't have a go at this look. You can just practice. It's only makeup at the end of the day. You can always wash it off if it doesn't work and just try it again. Right, now I'm painting that tongue pink and also painting the gums pink too, and also creating some pink lips. You can see how now that the darker shades and the shading is going in there, you can see how it's really starting to bring the features out and make it look like those are my actual features and it's hiding my own features. Now I'm using my actual eyebrows, which I have previously blocked out incidentally, but I'm using my actual eyebrows as like a fake socket line for the eyes. So I'm just going over that and shading, and then just shading around the eyes, bringing it out slightly just to create a kind of an evil eye look. And then creating some bags using the same kind of shading technique that I used for the other features on the face. So you want to put the shading in with a stiff brush and then blend with a fluffy brush to start building up the shadows and the depth of shadow to create a realistic three-dimensional effect. Now I'm just painting in some great big nostrils to give the illusion of a wider, larger nose than I actually have, and then painting in the edges of the nose. The most challenging thing is when you first start to put the features in, because it's very hard to kind of look at your own face with your own features and imagine other features on top of that. But once you start getting in some of the darker shades and some of the sort of pivotal shapes on the features, then it will all start to come together and it makes it a lot easier. So you can see I'm just adding in some wrinkles and expression lines, so a nice frown and also some sort of wrinkles down the nose where this evil Jack-in-the-Box Lord Leapin type character is smiling. Some smile lines at the sides of the mouth, and then I'm just going in with some black body paint to paint in those brows. Switching to white and painting in those jagged teeth. You want to keep the teeth quite sort of ununiform, so don't make them too perfect, because then it will look a lot more evil and a lot more organic looking. And then I decided to start painting the black around the box and the spring, just so I could see more clearly the illusion effect that I was going to get. There are some other illusion artists that do this as their last step, but I'd never done this before, and I just felt that it would help me see the look coming together if I painted in the black. It would give me something to sort of base it off, if you see what I'm saying. So I just used a large brush for the larger areas of my body, and then used a smaller stiff brush. I actually used a lip brush just to do around the edges and the detailed areas. Then going in and painting the box, I decided on green because I felt this colour would pop nicely against the black. You can do whatever colour you like. So I just painted the whole box green apart from that centre panel. You'll see what I'll be doing with that in a moment. And then taking a different shade of green, I painted the top of the box. And then just started off by painting the whole of the spring white. We'll be adding some shading a little bit later to make that look 3D and bring it to life. Painting the inside of the box black. And then painting that front panel white because I'm going to put a little sign on the front saying Lord Leaping, as in Lords are Leaping. Now just starting to shade in that spring, so using a grey eyeshadow, I'm just shading any areas that are receding slightly. So I was just shading in the lower part of the spring and the bits of the spring at the back, because those would be the bits that were in shadow. Using that same shade, I'm just shading along the tops of the teeth, along the gum lines, start giving them some dimension, and then taking a very fine brush and some black paint to define those lips. Now I'm just shading with that same fine brush and the black body paint between those teeth, just to give a little bit of shadow to the back of the tongue, because obviously it's receding back into the mouth. And using some grey eyeshadow just to blend out that shadow towards the front of the tongue. Redefining those teeth, because they got lost a little bit when I was putting those shadows in. And adding some white highlights on some of the other teeth, more towards the centre than the back, because towards the back they'd be receding slightly, so they would be slightly in shadow. And then I'm taking the opportunity to do the highlights on the rest of the face, so just highlighting that new nose structure to bring that out, highlighting between all the wrinkles, the eye bags, the crow's feet, the chin, the cheeks, the wrinkles down the sides of the mouth, the lips, basically anywhere you want to bring forward, and it gives it a nice 3D effect. And then also the front of the spring, just to make that look further 3D. The new brow bones for this gorgeous creature in between the forehead wrinkles and that lovely frown line. So I'm just using basically white water-based body paint, just blending with my finger. And then on to adding some detail on the box. So just using a stiff brush and some grey eyeshadow, I'm just adding some shading around that rim along the top of the box, and also some shading underneath that spring, just where it casts the shadow on the box. Now around that label and on the underneath of the rim around the top of the box. Now I'm just writing Lord Leaping on the box, and as per usual I did it back to front, despite the fact that I really thought it through and thought, right, I'm doing this the right way, and clearly I wasn't again. Anyway, back to the box. So just using that fine brush again and some black body paint and just creating some depth on those inner corners. Little bit more depth around that label and around that rim, and then using some grey eyeshadow, just dragging it down along that rim just to make the box look a little bit sort of aged and dirty. A little bit of a white highlight up the centre of the side of the box and the corner of the box, and little bits on the top. And then a little bit more of that kind of dirty aged look. Just defining the edges of the head of the Jack-in-the-Box, and just going back in and just darkening up any black areas between that spring to make it really pop. Deepening up some of the areas on the black parts of my body, just because you'll need a couple of coats to make sure it's not streaky. And then going in with an even deeper grey and just adding some more depth to some of that shading on the facial features. A little bit more shading around those gums and the sides of the mouth to make it look like it's receding backwards. And then taking Deep Night by Laura Mercier, my favourite shadow colour, and just really deepening up certain areas like the inner corners of the eyes, around those cheeks, and around those nose wrinkles. A little bit of shading around the top of the forehead just to bring that all together. Bit of black eyeliner along the eyes just to emphasise those a little bit more, because I felt they were getting a little bit lost. And then I just feathered out those brows a little bit. Defined the corners of the mouth again and any teeth where I felt they needed a little bit more definition, and then added a little bit of browny kind of rusty colour just to give a little bit of colour and blush to the cheeks and certain areas of the face. And then right at the end my boyfriend brought me in a glass of wine which I had to drink with a straw. Brilliant.
This is the finished look. It took rather a long time, but I'm very pleased with it, and obviously it will look better against the black backdrop. If you like this video, please give it a massive thumbs up. It would help my channel out loads, because that's what YouTube's using for their algorithms now. The engagement with the video, so comments and thumbs up and that kind of thing. So please, 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 please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, let me know what you thought. Love you all, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye.